All right, good evening all. You're welcome to today's tutorials from Eternity the School Board. Today we're going to take a look at biology. We'll continue from where we stopped in biology. Where did we stop in our last lecture in biology? Were you there? Were you there? Biology, not here. Huh? Growth, okay. Characteristics of living things, right? Did that give us any assignment? What assignment did I give you? Oh yeah. Come and tell us what you did on the difference between growth and development. Tell us what you did. Come here. I'm looking at us. So tell us what you did in growth and development. So what is the difference between growth and development? Is what? Come closer so I can pick your voice.
Development is developing someone improving in social status or academic status. That is development. Growth is someone growth is the maturity of when cells.
Can you hear him?
When cells.
Can you hear him? Eh? What did he say now? You?
Growth is when cells in living organism begin to mature.
Mature.
Yes. It's when maturity.
Did you do the assignment?
Yes, but not in this book that I copied it. I copied it in one exercise book.
Okay, because you didn't come with it, you are not able to talk about it. Oya, come see. When your wedding, come. Oya. When your wedding, yeah. When your wedding. Whatever. I'll call your dad and tell him. Oya. Face us. What is the difference between growth and development? Come closer so we can capture your voice. The word we hear your voice. Oh yeah.
Growth is the increase in size or in height or weight of an organism.
Increase in what?
Size, height or weight.
Okay.
While development is when the organs, like the cells in the human body, begin to mature into an organ.
Into what?
Maturity.
What is maturity?
Maturity.
You don't know how to put it. Now sit down. Chinwe, come and tell us what you did. Is that the only assignment I gave? Huh? What an assignment did I give? Huh? Yeah. Come closer. Increase in what?
Size.
Shape. Or what? Shape. Okay.
Development is the production of new cells.
Is what?
Production of new cells.
Development. Are you sure? Which source did you get that one from? Which source? What's their source? The source that said that the development is production of more cells. Oh yeah. Which source? Which material did you consult to get such information? Share with us. Feel free. Don't mind how I sound. Just feel free. So tell us, what material did you consult that told you that development is the What do you say again? Is what?
Production.
Of new cell. Oh yeah. Oh yeah now.
From the dictionary.
Hmm?
From the dictionary.
Dictionary. Okay, sit down. All right, you guys have you've done your parts. We'll continue from where we stopped. Actually, none of you got it completely, but I think Kamsi a bit. She tried a bit, but with remain one or two things to make it a sound distinction. Okay, let's go. Let me explain something. We are discussing characteristics of what? Living things. And growth is part of it. That's where I gave you as an assignment to tell me the difference between growth and what development. Now, growth is an irreversible increase or enlargement of an organism. Hello? It's an irreversible enlargement of what and what organism. Now, when I say enlargement, I mean that different parts of the organism is increasing in the what size. There's an increase, and it's what irreversible increase in what size. Size can increase. That's the main measure of height. Height is also a form of what part of what growth. Right. Size, height, and what have you. In general, if the organism was like this before, after some time, it may do what? Increase. Am I communicating? This is an enlargement from the original size. Am I communicating? Now, that is what growth. But development is a kind of development has to do with change, maybe in the shape or form, how an organism appears. There's a change in the shape, in the form of what organism. That's what development. Now, from this, I said that growth is what irreversible. Do you think development is irreversible, or do you think development is reversible? Can you see? Do you think development is reversible or irreversible? Development, is it reversible or irreversible? Irreversible. Why do you say reversible? Oh yeah. I'm listening. Oh yeah, I'm listening now. Oh yeah, tell me why you say that irreversible. Development is what? Is it reversible or irreversible? Tell me, please. Fast. Think. Now, if you eat well, if you eat balanced diets, and you start imbibing, maybe start developing one kind, maybe the person is growing or has grown to some level, to some extent, then maybe Something like you start having beers. Hello? You start having beers. Your voice as a guy, as a boy, start becoming what? Deep. As a girl, your shape start coming out. You start growing hairs in support of your body. Do you think that is growth or development? Is what? Is what? Development. Is what? Development. Change in form or shape. Not enlargement or increase in size. No. Change in form and what? Shape. Let's speak of what mainly happens in what? Development. You guys did not do a good job on this assignment, and I'm not comfortable with it. You just came and just open one book, look at the definition of development, and came out to it. No, that's what I want. If you are asked to distinguish, you just point out the difference between two of them. That's all. Did you bother to check up the difference between development and the growth? This one is this one is this. That's what I mean. Not to look for the definition and come and be telling me some went to dictionary and that's not what the difference. If you enter me, I ask for some of you that will say right to WAEC, these are points you should also know. These are things you should learn how to do. When you are asked to distinguish between two things, try as much as possible to go deep, outline them, probably in tabular form. Check what this one has and this one doesn't have. Development is growth, is increase in size. This one is just change, not nearly an increase. Because the organism has already increased or increasing. But this one, do you think development? Look at another area that I want you to. Do you think development takes place throughout the life of the organism? Does it stop? Does organism stop developing? Does organism stop growing? Which of them has a particular point to stop growing, and which of them continues for the ages, for the entire age of the organism? Which of them continues? These are things. These are what I want you to find out. You go back to this assignment, okay? Each time I give you assignment, do it well. Go back, find out these things. I want us to discuss it. I'm interested in it. If I give you assignment, do it very well. There are things I'm expecting you to point out, which you have not done. I'm not comfortable with it. You go and do it again. You have not done the assignment I gave you. Draw a table. Get textbooks or whatever source you want to get it from. Point out the difference between this. Up to 5, 6, 7. Maybe because I didn't say, okay, give me the 10 differences between development and what? Growth. Look for them. 10 differences. Look for them, you will see. This is not the topic. We are not entering that topic. We are just doing, this is just characteristics of what? Living things. That's why I don't want to enter it. It's just characteristics of what? Living things. But I want you to do the assignment on your own and come up with the what? An answer. Are I complicated? Are I complicated? Okay. Now, let's look at other characteristics of living things. Let's look at other characteristics of living things. Do you think change in your ability to do something, maybe your ability to read and understand, do you think is development or growth? Is it growth? Go and do your assignments. Do your assignments. Yes, sir. We come see. Now let's continue. I want you to do this assignment. If you do this assignment, You'll be happy you did. Please. You'll be happy you what? Did. Now let's look at reproduction. Reproduction as a catalysis of what? Living things. Reproduction as a I want you to draw a table. Growth / what? Development. Research, go online, Google it. Differences between development and growth. Go online. Ask if you don't have the phone, ask your parents, ask your siblings. Get their phone, browse this thing, the growth. I want you to write it on you. I want you to do it. Huh? Where? You search all the whole material, the whole world online. They're not up to that you just open one and say it's not. There are different write-ups from different people. Find out. I want to teach you how to do research. That's what it's not. You just go. Google is not one write-up. There are thousands. There are millions of write-ups. True of us. There are millions of it online. So don't just pick one and say it's not up to them. No, I don't believe you. Search more. Okay? Do it. You'll be happy you did. Now let's continue. Now, reproduction. What is reproduction? What comes to your mind whenever you hear the word reproduction? Any idea? What is reproduction, Kamsi? To do what? I can't hear it clearly. Is what?
To produce an offspring, or to give birth to an offspring of the same species.
Not an.
Of
Didn't we do countable and uncountable now here? Is offspring a countable now? Chinwe. Is offspring a countable now? Is it countable now or uncountable now? Shut up. Who told you that? Okay, you are not there. Is what? It's uncountable now. Open your okay. You are not with your English notes. Offspring is an uncountable now. So they are not like an offspring. Hello? They are not like what? An offspring. Okay? Because it's not countable. You cannot say an. Hello? Offspring. Remember? So it's not countable. It's uncountable now. If you say and, that means you are making it a countable now. That means it is. Am I communicating? Hello? Let's stop it there. Let's keep it there. Now, okay, I like you say that reproduction is a process. You said, I'm repeating what you said. That reproduction is the what? Ability of an organism to do what? Give birth to what? Offspring, right? That does what? That resemble the what? Organism. Good. Now what is reproduction? Reproduction is a process. Just as she said, whereby what? An organism produces or gives birth to what? If you say give birth, not all the organisms give birth. Hello, so giving birth should not be the right thing. Simply say produces what? Produces what? Offspring, right? That resembles what? That resembles what? It, right? Am I communicating? So why do we have reproduction? You know that with time, every organism, there's no living organism that lives forever. The life of living organism is what? Limited. Now, the main purpose of reproduction is for the continuation of the species. Hello? For the continuation of the what? Species. to avoid the species going into what is called extinction. Have you heard of the word extinction? To avoid the species going into what? Extinction. That is why we have what? Reproduction. Because living organisms, their life is what? Limited. So, there's need for them to reproduce another organism, to produce another organism of their what? Kind, to continue the what? Their what? Species. So that they can go from one generation to what? Another what? Generation. So that the species can go from one generation to what? Another generation without going into what? Extinction. So that the species can go from one generation to what? Another generation without going into what? Extinction. That is what reproduction is all about. This is just trying to let you know. We'll still do reproduction as a what? Topic. It's just one of the characteristics of what? Living what? Things. Okay. In as much as living organisms clearly exhibits carry out reproduction, non-living organisms also do that, but not in the same way living organisms what do their own. Am I communicating? Non-living organisms can also do what? Can also do what? Multiply, right? But not in the same way living organism does their what? Own. Like crystals. Are you aware that crystals grow? Are you aware? Good. When you have a crystal grow, it can split off. The one that split off and will start doing what? Growing. Am I communicating? We start doing what? Growing by deposition. It will get to a point, it will do what? Split and it will keep growing. It's not reproducing its kind, but not the same way we living organisms continue their own. Am I communicating? Yes. Now, is there any other characteristics you are familiar with we have not mentioned? Is there any characteristics that we are familiar with we have not mentioned? There's this acronym we normally use. When we are in school, we use Mr. Niger plus D, but now they've changed it to something else. We use Mr. Niger plus D. When we are in school, when we are in secondary school, we use Mr. Niger plus D that time. Those days, we use Mr. Niger plus what? Plus D. Where M is what? Movement, R is what? Reproduction, N is what? Nutrition, I is what? Eatability, G is what? Growth, E is what? Excretion, R is what? D is what? Death. Death, during our own time, but now they have changed it to what? Miss what? Mrs. what? Nedge. Mrs. what? Nedge. Mrs. what? Nedge. M is still what? R is what? S is what? Sensitivity. They move this one from I to what? S. N is what? Still what? Nutrition. E is what? Excretion. R is what? G is what? But they not include that in this one. They not include that in this one. But that is that actually a characteristic of living things. Yeah, living things will surely what? Die. Remember I said that the main reason why they reproduce is that they want to continue their what? They want to prevent their species from going into what? Extinction. So that's the need for what? Reproduction. Had it been, they're nothing like reproduction. After God created Adam and Eve, yes, they are nothing like reproduction. Do you think there will be human being on earth? They die since now, but because they they reproduce. That's why we say a human being exists. Three of us will sow. So reproduction is a very important what? Important aspect of what? Aspect of what? Or characteristics of what? Living things. Good. Now there's another point I want to make. These ones are the classical characteristics of living things we know, but there are some other characteristics that living things do possess. Something like limited size. True of us. Living things have limited what? Size. Every species have its own limited what? Size. True of us? Yes. True. That's why you can see there's a species of rat you will see. Very tiny. True of us? True of us? Eh? You don't see such rat before? Who has seen a very tiny rat? No, that's their size. That's their species. That's species. There are rats that you see, they are very big. There's a species of rat you see, very tiny. Okay, Belgium. Have you heard of okay Belgium before? These are small rats that will enter your television and deal with all the wire in your television. Small rats. These are the ones that can pass through the. It's not that they are small. That is how they and they're like that. They will give birth. Very small. They will give birth. I've seen them. Very small rat. They will give birth. Once they enter your house, sorry for that house. They can never leave that place again because they are tiny. You won't even know that such thing is in there. But it's what they would do. They will be doing to you. You know that. You know them. Share. You've seen them, right? Those tiny rats. Remember, I said that limited size is also a characteristic of what? Living things. Each species or living things have their own what? Limited size. They cannot grow beyond that what? Size. But there's rat you see. There's species of rat you see. Very big. True of us. Very big. There's one you see very small. Those small ones, they still give birth at that size. You'll be like, you'll be thinking that they will still grow. They're not growing anything again. That's how they will remain. Very small. So, limited, the human being, Israel, seeing human being, that is, whose head touches this place, Israel. True of us. So each species have a limited what? Size. Have you seen a human being that is as fat as from here to this place? Have I completed? So each species have what? Limited what? Size. So growth. Going back to the question I asked you before, even though you still do it as an assignment, growth has a limit. True of us. Growth has a limit. True of us. True. Growth has what? A limit. I will not answer the other one. Do the assignments. Now let's continue. If you like, give a pigeon. I want to use if you like, give a pigeon or give such rats delicious food, balanced diet. They can never grow to be like turkey. True of us. If you like, get a fowl, a chicken, a fowl, a hen. Get a cock. Babia need no one in. Give him all the food you can ever give. He can never grow and be like human being. True of us. He can never even grow up to the size of a turkey. A turkey will always remain a what? A turkey. Then a cock will always remain a what? A cock. So growth is what? Limited. I think I mentioned something, right? about that nobody lives, no living organism lives forever. True or false? So, as a characteristic of living things have what you call lifespan. I think death can also come into this place, because death means that all living things must do what? Die. True or false? Will do what? Die. So, living thing has what? Lifespan. We call it life what? Span. What it means is that it has a particular age. Living things, that living thing can go to. The living thing will do what? Die. Human beings have average of 70. Human beings. Average under normal circumstance. Average of what? 70, 80, 90. Yes. But mosquito how many days? How many days? You don't know. You don't know. Are you serious? Mosquito lifespan is very short lifespan. That's nothing that is dealing with you. Very short what? Lifespan. It doesn't have much in days itself. Am I communicating? I want to find out what is the lifespan of a mosquito. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Lifespan of what? Mosquito. You tell me in our next class. This now I'm saying I will if I give you assignment. No. I think I'll change it from now onward. If I give you assignment, I should come the next day. You give me a report of what you did in your assignment. I want to keep you working. Okay, no more chance again. I will not allow you to have such chance again. In your next class, you show me you come here and discuss the assignment you did. Now, living organisms have what? Life what? Span. No living organism lives forever. Are we together? No living organism lives what? Forever. So, all living organisms pass through the following stage. One is what? Birth or origin. Birth. One is growth. 2 is growth. 3 is maturity. 4 is productivity. And 5 is aging. And 6 is what? Death. I say that all living organisms pass through the following stages as they come into the world. One is what? Birth or origin, as the case may be. Because giving birth is not all living organisms give birth. Hope you know. So giving birth is not for all organisms, but they can reproduce without giving birth. Because when you say giving birth is a different note, even though it's a form of what? Reproduction. True or false? Not all living organisms give birth as per giving birth. Now, that's why you can say origin or birth. Now, the next one is growth. You grow first, then start maturing. Have you noticed that when someone get to a particular age in life, the person will just grow. When you give birth, the person just grow and stop growing, and remain there and start developing different parts of the body. True of us. So the person is gradually tilting towards what? Maturity. Just as she pointed out, maturity. So maturity is also a stage. Then productivity. You have matured. Yes, what can you produce as a human being? That's where you are. People will say that what have you produced? You are reproduction is part of production. Hope you know. Yeah, giving birth to having offspring is also what? Productivity. True of us. Then also as human beings, what we are able to contribute to society is also a what? Productivity. How productive are you in society? It's also what? Productivity. Then another one is aging. When you build a kabazianka, bodabazia na age. The person will start going down, both in strength, in age, and what have you. The next thing is what? Death. Or this is what happens under normal circumstance. Somewhere that want to cross main road and got involved in accident. Is the person? Did the person grow old? That's why I say that under normal circumstances, when every other factors is kept constant, someone should, after giving birth, should grow, mature, or develop, then produce or become productive, then age and what? Die. That is it. That is how human being life should be. So have you seen why the death is also a characteristic of a what? Living thing? Because no living thing is what? Live forever. Okay. Let's look at them under characteristics. Competition. Competition is also another characteristic of what? Living thing. Competition. This competition is evidence in a lot of things. There is this survival of the fittest. There is this survival of the fittest among what? Living things. True of us. There is this survival of the what? Fittest. If you go even among plants compete for what? Nutrients. True of us. Under the soil. True of us. In the soil. True of us. So the one that have stronger and deeper roots, stronger roots, will get more nutrients than the one that doesn't have what? You see, and if care is not taken, that one that doesn't have strong disease may start dying. True of us. Good. Even among animals, lower animals, they fight for virtually everything. Even among human beings, we compete. But just that our own as human beings, we do our own like what? Human what? Being. So living organisms, they struggle for what? Light, space, water, food. Very important, especially in lower animals, even in plants. So competition is a characteristic of what? Living what? Things. Another one is adaptation. Another one is what? Adaptation. What is adaptation? Let me use something else to you as a human being now. Who among you likes taking siesta in the afternoon? Let's say from 3, 4, 5. Who among you does that? Take siesta 3, 4, 5. You in school, but he is here at school. By now you should be taking your siesta in school, right? But here you are attending what? Lectures. It's because of your ability to adapt to change in your what? Environment. Here is not your school environment. You must adapt to do what? Survive here, because you need this tutorial. That's why you decided to give up your what? Sleep. You want to adapt to the condition that you sit down in the afternoon and receive what? Lectures. It's also what? Adaptation. There are some plants naturally, because of the environment they see themselves, their leaves, maybe they are in the desert, their leaves will modify to be able to conserve what? Water. True of us is also what? Adaptation. It's not an adaptation. So adaptation is the ability to do what? Become what? Become what? Comfortable or yes, let's say comfortable, or become acquainted, or you can say comfortable, acquainted, or become fit to a particular what? Environment that is different from previous what? Environment the organism was in. Am I communicating? The ability to fit in to a particular environment or to fit into any change, to any change in the environment is what? Adaptation. So all living things must have the ability to do what? Adapt to the environment. Because they need to survive. Without that adaptation, they will not do what? Survive. So adaptation is a what? Characteristic of what? Living things. Now, there's another important, as another characteristic of living things I want us to look at. Have you heard of the word homeostasis? Have you heard of the word homeostasis? Have you heard of the word homeostasis? Are you serious? SS2. You were entering SS3. How many people don't kidney in your biology? And I didn't mention anything about homeostasis. No problem. See, what happens is this. Homeostasis is just, there is always some, maybe internally, sometimes. Have you bothered to find out why is it that why is it that you can easily, I think that I may take you a bit high, a bit deep. I don't know how do I put it now. Okay. Let me bring it to your level. Inside our body, actually homeostasis is the ability of an organism to maintain a fairly constant internal environment in the body. Am I communicating? Homeostasis is the ability of an organism to maintain a fairly constant internal environment in the body. It's the ability of an organism to maintain a fairly constant internal environment in the body. That is what homeostasis is all about. Have you heard of poikilothermic and what? What's another name for the other one? Warm-blooded and cold-blooded animal. You never heard about poikilothermic animals? Poikilothermic. Hey. It's alright, we'll still do it. But have you heard of warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals? There are some animals that when their body, I want to use this to explain homeostasis. When their body temperature changes with respect to any environment, if they are in a warm environment, their body temperature will do what? Rise. If they are in a cold environment, their body temperature will be what? Cold. Put down this thing. Write down something. Write something. Assignment 2. Find out the meaning of these two. We'll still do these two topics too, but I want you to prepare your mind before we do it. Find out these two group of animals: cold-blooded and warm-blooded. Cold-blooded. Cold and warm. Find out what we mean by cold-blooded and warm. Find out the one that is. Find out under name they are called. I will not tell you. Find out under name. Let me clean poikilothermic. Find out under name they are called warm-blooded and cold-blooded animal. And at least give me an example of at least two examples of each of them at least. But I've told you that one of them. But I won't tell you the one that it is. One of them, when they are in a cold environment, their body temperature will become low. But when they are in a hot environment, so their body temperature changes with respect to what the environment they are in. But there are some animals that no matter how the high temperature where they are is, the body temperature is fairly what? Constant. Why does their body temperature remain constant even in a place that is we have high temperature? Why? Because of homeostasis. Their system has a way of maintaining a constant what? Environment. The environment we're talking about, it can be parameters, can be like temperature, constant pH. These are what they maintain, what homeostasis maintain. So there are some these organisms that maintain constant what? Temperature, constant what? Fairly constant what? pH. You know what is pH, right? Good. Fairly constant temperature, pH. Even salt content at constant level. This is what is called what? Homeostasis. The ability of the body to maintain a fairly constant internal what? Environment. So irrespective, living organism have the ability to carry out homeostasis, to maintain a fairly what? Constant internal what? Environment. Irrespective of the changes in their what? External what? Environment. This is what is called homeostasis. So it's also a characteristics of what? Living thing. Now evolution. Do you think evolution fit? Do you know what is evolution? Huh? Do you know what is evolution? Tell us. Changing what?
Because of the adaptation.
Okay. See, evolution, have you heard of the term evolution? Evolution, over the years, over time, living organisms may start developing some features that they didn't have before, or forms start changing to a different form they didn't have, they were not in before, because of changes in their what? Environment. Are you aware that the way you look like is not the way human beings that existed in let's say 1900? It's not the same way you look like they look. Let me use Igbos now. Igbos here. It's not the same way you look that they look. I just use human being as an example. But there is this theory of evolution that human beings started from ape. From there, human beings started from ape like Gaddafi. In fact, they even say that we came from chimpanzees. All those two of us. Have you heard such before? That they keep millions of years went by, we start adapting, start developing new characteristics, features, until we get to this modern human being, the way we look like now. And also in the next 20 years, next 100 years, next 2 million years, I don't think human being there will be a change in the way we do what? Look and appear. That is what evolution is all about. We'll still do it as a topic anyway. I'm just trying to point all the features of characteristics of living things for a better understanding, so that when we go to do those topics, remember, biology studies what? Living things. So we're going to take these topics, all these things I've been calling here, form their own topics, because the biology studies what? Living things. So these characteristics of living things form their own topic we are going to discuss in detail in this class. Are we together? Now, so what are living things? What are non-living things? What if you ask now, what are non-living things? What are you going to say? Chinwendu, what are non-living things? Chinwendu, what do you understand by the term non-living things? Good. Non-living things are things that don't have life in them. Non-living things are things that don't have life in them. Are you hungry? You didn't take your lunch. Why? Non-living things are things that don't have life in them. Okay. We are done with catalysis of living things. Hope you know. We are gradually going into non-living things. After that, we will now talk about basically we'll talk about the difference between living things and what non-living things. So, non-living things are things that don't have life in them. Of course, all these characteristics of living things we listed out, non-living things don't have those characteristics, even though they may have something that looks like when we discuss reproduction, right? We also discuss growth, but not exactly the same way the growth we know as human being, growth in human being, but they have something that looks like that. I explained it. So solid non-living things can exist as solid. Example of a solid non-living thing. Example of a solid non-living thing. Ceramics. Example of a solid non-living thing. Example. Chair. Good. Example of a solid non-living thing. Clay. Okay. Example of a liquid non-living thing.
Water.
Example of a liquid non-living thing. Gas. Is gas liquid?
So,
Kerosene. Example of a liquid non-living thing. Example now, chemical. Example. No idea. So I think you tell me before we go to this. Example of a gaseous non-living thing.
Wind.
Wind is wind gas. Okay. Anyway. Air is filled with is made up of gases anyway. But does wind have solid particles?
Okay.
So give me an example of a gaseous non-living thing.
Nitrogen.
Good. Also you good. Example of a gaseous non-living thing. Why now? RC. Is RC a gas? Which is RC? Please give me a generic name. I don't want brand name. Give me a generic name or give me a name. Not company name. Example. Pepsi. Hey, please, you guys should learn how to reason. Think, please. You are thinking this thing is still behind and is still slow, and I don't like it. Learn how to think fast, and give answers to questions. It's very important. So, do you think living things and non-living things have anything in common? Oh yeah. What? Okay. Now let me give you some examples. Before going there, let me give you examples of non-living things. You just finished non-living things. Hope you know. As examples of non-living things, we have something like there are those that are in solid form. Stone. You mentioned stone. Iron is there. Glass is there. Two of us. They are ones in what? Liquid form. You have water is there. Mercury. You mentioned some. Put those ones you mentioned. Add it there. Add it up. But don't add RCO. Then don't add Pepsi. Then gases. You mentioned nitrogen. Wonderful. You mentioned oxygen, right? Wonderful. You can put carbon dioxide. It's also there. Hydrogen is also there. These are gaseous what? Non-living things. Now, do you think living things and non-living things have anything in common? What are the next heading is similarity between living things and non-living things. So what are the similarities between living things and non-living things? Tell me one similarity between living things and non-living things.
Movement. Movement.
Both move.
Yes.
Movement. Move. Okay. Come see, yeah.
Reproduction.
Reproduction. How?
They both have carbon forms, right?
They have what?
Carbon forms, right?
They both have carbon forms and how?
One is if they breathe new oxygen.
Non-living things. Non-living things breathe. What about plants? You're talking about plants. I'm talking about non-living things. Non-living things breathe.
No.
Do they have a gaseous exchange? Listen. Do they have size? Living things and non-living things. Do they have size? Do living things have size? Do not living things have size? Is a similarity. What of shape? Do they possess shape? It's a similarity now. What of weight? They are all matter, so they have what? Weight. Two of us, mass and weight. And so they have what? Relationship together. They have similarities. Now, do you think what are differences between living and non-living things? What are differences between living things and non-living things? Oh yeah. The difference between living things and non-living things. Oh yeah. Okay. Living thing does what? You produce. Okay. Good. They reproduce. What of non-living thing? I draw a table. Let's distinguish between two of them. Draw a table. The title is the difference between living and non-living things. Draw a table. When you define, remember you define non-living things as what? Are you listening? Remember you define non-living things as what? Things that don't have life in them. Don't you think this can constitute a difference between two of them, right? Right? Or you write it down. Living things, they have what? Life in them, right? Why not living things? They don't do what? They don't do what? They don't have life in them. Have you seen how to bring out differences? Start from the definition, compare the definition, compare a lot of things. Okay. This chair you are sitting on now, does it feed? Does this chair feed? Does this chair respire? Does this chair respond to stimulus? If you carry cutlass and approach this chair with intent to smash the chair with the hammer or cutlass, would the chair run? So the chair does not respond to what? Stimuli. So you can simply say living things feed. Living things feed, but not living things. They do not do what? Feed. Right? Good. Living things feed. Not living things do not feed. Living things respire. Non living things do not respire. Living things reproduce. Non living things do not reproduce. Living things respond to what? Stimuli. Non-living things do not respond to what? Stimuli. I want to ask a question. Do you think non-living things move? Do non-living things move? The question, do they move? They don't move. So they remain one place. The nylon you see flying on the air, is it moving? Living things move. But the way they move, listen carefully, the living things move. You can put it in their similarity, living things, and they both move. But they move in different ways. Now, but the difference is how they move, and what made them to move is what distinguishes the movement of living things from movement of non-living thing. What makes them move and how they move, that's what distinguishes movement or living things. Now let's look at how they move and what makes them move. So the difference is this: movement of living things is caused by internal structures. Like movement of living things is caused by internal structures or factors, internal factors like muscles and bones, flagella and cilia. Muscles, and you know where you see muscles now and where you see bones, right? And you know where you see cilia and where you see flagella. That's why I give you that. So that assignment, does arm member has flagella? Does arm member have flagella? That's the assignment I give you for. Come see. Did you do the assignment? You did not. Did you do the assignment? You did not. Chico, did the assignment? Hey! I did an assignment. You must do the assignment. And the first 30 minutes in this class, we will study the assignment tomorrow. So, do the assignment. If you don't do that assignment tomorrow, I'll have a very big issue with you. Jokes apart, I don't joke with my assignment. You must do it. If you don't do it, I will know that you're not serious. I'll call your parent and stop you from coming. You're not serious. If you don't do the assignment tomorrow, I'll call your parent. To me, you're not serious. I want serious people. If I give assignment, you must do it. Do the assignment. How will you study? How will you grow academically if you don't do your assignment? If you don't study? So you must do the assignment. Go and look at amoeba. Study the structure of amoeba. And tell me what happens, what causes the movement in amoeba, whether it has flagella or not. So I said that movement by living things is caused by internal structures like muscles, bones, and flagella and cilia. Now, but movement of non-living things is caused by external factors. Yes, movement of non-living things is caused by external factors. What are those factors? The typical example of those factors are two: wind and current. Wind and current. What is wind? Who can define the word wind for me? What is wind? Wind is what? Air in motion. Good. Wind is what? Air in motion. Wind is what? Air in motion. So wind is a factor. What is an external factor that moves non-living things. That's why you can see particles suspended in the air, moving from one place to. That's why you can eat granite, biscuit, and even though it's not good to throw in your nylon away, if I catch you eat something and throw it away, I'll deal with you. It's a wrong attitude. It's not a good thing. If there is no place to put it in your pocket. If you go back to your house, drop it in your waste bin. Now, That's why human beings can eat biscuits and drops here. If you come here tomorrow, you see it outside. You see it somewhere here. Wind has done what? Carried it. Now, current moves water. Water moves from place to place with the aid of what? Current. Am I together? With the aid of what? Current. As you can see, does water have bone? Does water have bone? Bone and muscles. But it moves. Hello, am I communicating? The same thing with what? Particles in the air. So, at that difference between them, remember we said something about growth. I told you that the type of growth you see, non-living thing grows. Hope you know. But we made mention of, as we gave example like crystal. It's not the growth as in the way human being grow. No. Now, and what makes the difference between their own the growth in living organism, and living things and not living things? One is one living things feed, right? So from the food living things eat, they assimilate what? Nutrients that help them to do what? Grow. That help them to do what? Grow. So living things grow because of the what? Assimilation of food nutrients. Because of this assimilation of food nutrients into their body. Living things grow because of assimilation of food nutrients into their what? Body. But does not living things assimilate food nutrients? But they still grow, right? They still grow, right? So how then do non living things grow? If living things grow by assimilation of food nutrients from the food they eat, right? Then how does non living things grow? How does non living things grow? Non-living things grow by external addition of substances on their body. That's how non-living things grow. Living things taking something, taking food, and assimilate the nutrients, the cells will grow, right? But non-living things, they don't take in food. They grow by deposition. Remember I mentioned crystal, deposition, right? Who among you is doing geography in school? I doing geography. I do geography. In geography, the rock grow. Two of us. Rock grow by what? Deposition. Two of us. So as substances get deposited, they keep growing. That's how non-living things what? Grow. That's how non-living things what? Grow. Crystal grow by addition of crystals on the what? On the body of the already existing crystals, and they keep growing. We call it deposition. They call it what? Deposition. So non-living things grow by deposition. Hello? I want to point out the two major differences between the growth in living things and not living things. Living things grow by assimilation of what? Food substances. Non-living things grow by what? Deposition of particles on their body. Another point I want to make is that growth in living things is not reversible. Note this point. Growth in living things is what? Non-reversible. But growth in non-living things is what? Reversible. Growth in living things is what? Non-reversible. But growth in living things is what? Growth in living things is irreversible, right? But growth in non-living things is what? Reversible. Good. Now we are done with growth, their growth. Let's compare their age and whether they die. Living things, do they die? Yes. Living things, they age, they grow old and die, right? Living things age and die. Non-living things, they are not like age. They do not age. Living and they non-living things, they do not even what? Die. How can if there is no life in non-living things, would they die? It's only it's something that has life that dies. True of us. So living things die, but non-living things they don't do what? Die. They remain the way they are. Hello, are we together? Good. I want to point out another difference between them. Living things is highly dependent on non-living things. Are you aware? Living things is dependent on non-living things. Without living things, without non-living things, living things cannot exist. It shock you? It shock you? Do you agree with me? Non-living things, living things is dependent on non-living things. Without non-living things, living things cannot exist. Okay. Without non-living things, would there be cell? What make up cell in the first place? You remember when I was introducing this subject, I mentioned cells, right? I talked about where life starts from the cells, right? But those things that form cells, the macromolecules, molecules, and organelles, are they living? So even the air you take in, the air you breathe, is it a living thing? The water you drink, is it a living thing? The clothes you wear, is it a living thing? The chair you are using to sit down, is it a living thing? The book you are using now to write, is it a living thing? The pen you are using, is it a living thing? The slippers you are wearing, is it a living thing? You cannot do that. If there is no living thing, non-living thing cannot exist. True of us. Non-living, if you say living thing came from non-living, even the Bible told us that God brought clay and did what? Breathed in. even the Bible is not even scientific. It's saying all that living thing came from non-living thing. So without non-living thing, living thing cannot what? Exist. But without living thing, non-living thing we can do what? Exist. When God was creating, He created those non-living things and now created what? Living things. True of us. True of us. True of us. Because you know that man, living thing, need non-living thing to do what? Exist. So without living thing is dependent on non-living thing. But non-living thing is not dependent on what? Living thing. Without living things, non-living thing can do what? Exist. Is it clear? Good. Now, remember when we introduced chemistry, I told you that chemistry is life. Everything in you is what? Chemistry. As you are a macromolecule. You are a macromolecule. Atoms come together, elements come together to form molecules. Molecules come together to form macromolecules. The human being is macromolecules. Not only human being, living things. Because cell itself is what? Macromolecules. Come together to form organelles. So atoms come together to form molecules. Molecules come together to form macromolecules. Macromolecules come together to form organelles. Organelles come together to form what? Cell. It shock you? So cell cannot, you can never see, because of this now, you can never see a living thing that it has only one element. Is it possible? Is it possible to see a living thing that has only one element? You have only a living thing that has only oxygen. Carbon must be there. Hydrogen must be there. And other elements that form living thing, that form the cell of living thing. So living thing, one element can never form what? A living thing. But an element can form a non-living thing. True of us. Oxygen alone is enough to be oxygen is on its own is non-living thing. Hydrogen on its own is what? Non-living thing. So you can say that the living things are made up of what? more than one what element, but non-living things an element can make up a what non-living thing. Hello, are we together? Are we together? In the midst of this non-living thing, living thing issue, there is an organism. There is a substance. Do I call it a thing that falls between living thing and non-living thing? What's that? There is something that falls between living thing and non-living thing. Sometimes it can be living thing, sometimes it may not be. It may become non-living. What's that? What's that? What? Growth. What's that? Sorry. Growth. It's good. It's good. A substance. It's good. An organism. I'm talking about virus. Virus can be living things in some situation. It can also be what non-living thing. When a virus is inside your body, inside a living thing, it becomes what? Living. Because it uses the makeup of that living things to carry out these activities. But when a virus is outside a living thing, it becomes a what? Non-living thing. So it's between what? Living and what? Non-living things. Hello? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? We'll stop here for today, but I will give assignments. So put it down. I'll give assignments. Number 1, a characteristic. Is that where you are write your assignment? Hey, you may check it. I see in the mail. A characteristic that can possibly be shared by living and non-living organisms is a characteristics that can possibly be shared by both living and non-living organisms is A, locomotion. B, irritability. C, increase in biomass. BIOMASS. D, increase in size. D, increase in what? Size. Number 2. A characteristic exhibited by all living organisms is A characteristic exhibited by all living organisms is A, sexual reproduction. B. Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. C. The ability to move from one place to another. The ability to move from one place to another. D. The ability to remove unwanted substances. The ability to remove unwanted substances. Number 3. The ability of a living organism to detect and respond to changes in the environment. The ability of a living organism to detect and respond to changes in the environment is referred to as A. Growth. B. Taxis. 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 C. Locomotion. D. Irritability. Number 5. I should call number 4. Have I called number 4? Are you sure? How many questions have I called here? 3. Okay, number 4. All living organisms, A. Photosynthesize. B. Respire. C. Move. D. Feed. That's number 5, right? Sorry, number 4. Number 5. Number 5. Are we there? Are we there? I'm coming. The smallest living organisms which share the characteristics of both living and non-living matter. The smallest living organisms which share the characteristics of both living and non-living matter are A. Bacteria. B. Are you there? I said A. Bacteria. B. Fungi. C. Viruses. D. Protozoa. B. Protozoa. Let me look at another question. Okay, I think let's stop here. First time. Let's stop here. Tomorrow we have chemistry tomorrow. We have what tomorrow? Chemistry. All these assignments I give today. Please, why do you come late? Why? Sorry. Why do you come late? Why? Please, once you come, once here is locked, come straight to my office. Hello? If here is, once you check here, if here is locked, the first place you check is here. Once here is locked, come straight to my office. Okay? Maybe I may still be busy, then I will tell you where we have to stay. Just once here is locked, come. Even if that gate is locked, knock on it. Hello? Please. I want once you come here, see how our program will be. Each time you come here, the first 30 minutes, we use it to do what? Look at the assignment I gave the previous day, okay? All the assignments I gave the previous day, you will solve it. You will come out here one by one and answer those questions. Then from there, if there's any correction, I will make the correction. So take it seriously now from today onwards. Then after that, we'll now go for the lecture, do the lecture for the day. After the lecture for the day, if there will be time, I'll just ask one or two questions off head to answer here. But if there's no time, I'll just give you the assignment again. If you come the next day, we'll do the assignment I gave you for the course we did that day. So take it very seriously. Like coming Saturday now, not coming Saturday, Wednesday, I give assignment in what? Chemistry and maths. Those assignments I gave, you missed a lot. You missed. We are still playing with this lesson. We are still playing. Don't make me be angry with you. Now, Wednesday, we'll bring out a few minutes, analyze the assignment I gave you in maths and chemistry. I'll see what you did. If there's a correction. So this will be done within 30 minutes. No, because I wouldn't want it to affect our what? Lecture. Am I communicating? Then, if I give any assignment that day, what? On Saturday, we'll tackle the assignment. I'll give you assignment on. I'll give you. This is how we're doing it. So take it seriously now. It's no longer business as what? As usual. Okay? All right. Do you have any question? Please, as I told you in my class, ask question if you are confused. Ask question if you are confused. Don't keep quiet. Anything you don't understand, ask question. Even if I don't know it, I will research and give you the answer. I don't know everything in this life, but don't keep quiet. Ask question. Ask question. Don't keep quiet. Okay? All right. In the absence of any question, we'll call it. Is it a day or a night? Or an evening? Which one do you call it? All right. We'll stop here for today. Okay? All right. See you tomorrow. 4:00. We said don't come late here. If you get home now, start doing your assignment. Study it, not just copy what you don't know from online and can come here. If you come here and talk nonsense, I'll deal with you. Read it, understand it, then come here, we'll discuss it tomorrow before our class. All right, see you tomorrow.